And welcome back to another video where in today's video we're going to be going over my most favorite lens that I've used borderline religiously since I started photography back in 2013. So I've been using this lens for nearly 8 years. And the lens in question is the 24-70 2.8 from Nikon. And the reason I like this lens is at 24mm you still get quite a wide shot, but it's also the zoom capability up to 70mm that lets you really hone in on your subject. Now most of my photography is portrait photography, so most of the time I'm actually relatively quite close to them. But as well, it also doubles down as a landscape lens, landscape photography lens. So if you want to shoot photos of the mountains, if you're or just a landscape in general, including like city photos if you're in the middle of a city. Throughout this video I'll be putting like different examples of photos I've taken with this lens. It's just so versatile as well. So the 2.8 element means that it can, all of the rings inside, I think I mentioned it in my basics to photography video, can open up quite wide to make almost a perfect circle. Now these days you can, this lens also came in a 1.8, which is even wider and even shallower depth of field, but you know, not made of money. So this is still rock solid for what I need it for today. Today's prices means it's cheaper than now because of mirrorless. It's actually a lot cheaper, but until mirrorless started to become the norm, it held its price relatively well, and even today it's only lost maybe about a third of its value. So around £1,500 to £1,000 now you can get this lens for. And I would also highly recommend, if you don't have a mirrorless camera and you want to save if you want to save some money on a DSLR instead of mirrorless, then I would say that this would be one of your best bets to keep in your bag if you're shooting Nikon. But also imagine that Canon also have the equivalent of this, maybe give or take a few millimeters. This is one of two of the main lenses I use. I also have a 70 to 200, so a continuation from the maximum reach of this lens, and keeps it going up to 200mm. But because that lens starts at 70, I don't use it so much because it's still quite zoomed in. It's nice for photography and portrait photography specifically, but that also means that if you're in a studio or on location, you have to stand a lot further back from the subject. I would say 9 times out of 10 I take my camera out to do photography or go on a trip. This lens will be the one that's on my camera. As well, it's also quite hefty, got some nice weight to it. I think this is about 700-800 grams, so it's quite solid, metal build quality, weather sealed, so it's got a rubber ring all around here so you can use it in the rain. And over 8 years, I think it's held up quite well. It's got, if you can hear this, still quite smooth in the gears to zoom in, even smoother with focus, although it's got autofocus, quite fast autofocus as well. And one thing you may not have known is that the wider your lens, i.e. f2.8, the faster it can focus. So this is what photographers would call fast glass. f2.8 and below, so the 1.2s, 1.4s, and 8s, so on, would be also classified as fast glass. But this was literally the best step forward I could take when starting on photography. Bit overkill for someone who is starting out, but again, this has been all over the world with me. This has been to every single photo shoot that I've done, and I couldn't recommend it enough. And in 2021, is it still worth it, all the price that people are asking for it? I would say definitely, because it is versatile, it is rugged, it is fast, and it is just built like a tank. So it also has the longevity that you would expect out of such an amount of money. So this has just been a quick video going over my favorite lens that I have. I'll do a sequel to this, be talking more about the 70-200 and when I use it and why I don't use it more often. But yeah, this has just been my quick photography video for this week. If you liked it, leave a like. If you have any questions, leave a comment. And if you want to see more, be sure to subscribe. So I'll see you guys next time.